You want to talk about depravity. It's Valentine's Day, so I was hoping we could talk about sort of higher romantic notions of love, mature, deep, rightly ordered notions of love. But we've got to talk about Joe Biden's new energy official who is in charge of nuclear waste in America. You want to talk about, people aren't talking about, and I feel like we should all be talking about the leather daddy dog fetishist that Joe Biden just put in charge of America's nuclear waste. The man's, I don't even want to say his name, because I don't want to embarrass him personally, except I guess I wouldn't be embarrassing him personally. You know, I wouldn't want to reveal someone's personal sins needlessly. That's not something I want to do. But in this case, it's not a personal sin. It's a very public, very creepy scandal for someone who is not in any way shy about this kind of behavior, who is now in a fairly powerful position in the U.S. government. So I guess I'll say his name. His name is Sam Brinton. He is the new Deputy Assistant Secretary of Spent Fuel and Waste Disposition at the Office of Nuclear Energy at the DOE. So this is a pretty serious position. And Sam Brinton identifies as and this is in his own public biography, as a non-binary man who engages in something called puppy play, which I guess is sexual. I guess it's sexual, but I don't. It's sexual in a very strange. He has men who pretend to be dogs, and he pretends to be their owner. And then for much of this activity, they're not. It's all sexual, but it's not like explicitly sexual until it is. It's really weird. We've sometimes talked about this. People write into this show a lot and say, you know, I look at porn and I don't want to look at porn, but I'm really addicted to this stuff. And one of the things that happens is that you look at, it's just like naked ladies on the internet, and by the end, you know, you're looking at two chickens doing calculus, and somehow that's sexual, but you don't really know how that's sexual, but it is. It's still part. So that's basically what this guy is into, and he brags about this. He gives classes on this sort of thing, on all various fetishes and kinks and strange behaviors. He gave an interview to the student newspaper at RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, where Brinton, this is according to the newspaper, quote, "Throughout the entire talk, Brinton was open about his experiences, the kinks he partakes in, and the nature of his relationships. He left us with countless anecdotes, like how he enjoys tying up his significant other like a table and eating his dinner on him while he watches Star Trek." Me, I like brunettes. You know, that's kind of one of, and this guy likes to tie up his sexual partners like they're a table and eat sushi off of them while he watches science fiction. In the old days, this guy would have been a huge blackmail risk because he has all these weird sexual behaviors that he's indulging all the time, and people would find out about it and then they could blackmail him. Now he's not really a blackmail risk because it's all public, so there's nothing to blackmail. But that is really, really degraded. It's really, if this man were your father, I don't think that, or you're your grandfather, I don't think somebody would say, you know, my grandfather, I so admire him. He fought in World War II, that's right. And my grandfather, he worked at the coal mines, and it was tough work, but he earned a living for our family, and he put his sons through school, and then here I am today, his grandson. They say, oh, wow, Michael, that's really interesting. Yeah, my grandfather liked to dress up in leather and whip other extremely perverted men who dressed up like doggies and feed them a bowl of water. Yeah, so our grandfathers, aren't we so proud of them? Grandfathers, right? Aren't they? They're people to look up to. No, you would be extremely embarrassed and ashamed of this because it's very shameful behavior. And it's not in any way dignified. And I'm not even saying that this guy is so bad because he's got some disordered sexual desires. It's a fallen world. Lots and lots of people have disordered sexual desires. But in a normal, healthy society, the thing that you would do is repress those desires because they are shameful. To quote Norm Macdonald, one of the great ethicists and moral philosophers of our age, sex is a filthy, shameful thing that is obviously only meant for procreation. Okay, and this is not when you just spend your time indulging in fantasies and childish delusions. That's not a distinguished life. Okay, that's not something to write home about. There was a poet, a sort of modern poet, who said the thing about sin, even beyond how bad it is and it harms people and harms yourself, is just such a waste of time. But that's what we're living in today. We're living in an age where adults, fully grown adults, will spend hours and hours and days and weeks dressing up in costumes and playing pretend and doing all sorts of weird, creepy sex stuff. That is childish behavior for a childish society that would appear to be past its prime. I'm glad you liked that clip. Now, please ring that bell, subscribe. You can get the notifications here when our new videos come out. And if you don't, you can head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles Show podcast. Leave a 5-star review. We will see you next time.